Good morning. Hello. Welcome to our practice today. Today is September 1st. It is the first day of the month of Magu in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple. So Magu is a Taoist Shan in the way that we work with her here. But before that, she is a much more primordial cosmogenitrix, rooted in ancient East Asia, but not confined to it. She is mother, creator. She is ultimately the oneness, the absolute matrix of space-time. So we are working with her kind of on a number of different levels. And I highly recommend the work of Helen Hase Kwong, who has the Mago Way, and you can find her online at magoacademy.com. She hosts classes and whale pilgrimages and all kinds of cool things. She's very intellectual, and her material is very intellectual. So if you go and take classes with her, you're going to be thinking. But she is wonderful, and she studies Mago, who is that primordial cosmogenitrix, as well as the Budoji, which is a Korean text about Mago, her daughters, and the procession of phenomena from the cosmic matrix. And in the Taoist tradition, Magu is the Shan, or immortal, related to long life, longevity, good health, and healing, the making of sacred medicines. There's a story where she went before the great empress of the Western Heaven named Chiwangmu, and Chiwangmu was so delighted by Magu's offering of a peach and hemp wine that Chiwangmu granted Magu immortality. And so in Magu, we have a goddess who was made a goddess by another goddess. And there's a beautiful sort of arc here of the recognition, what the recognition of an elder can confer upon someone who's just coming into her power, and the importance of the recognition and relationship between elders and those who are studying with them or in their company. And what I love about it is that it's a two-way street. It's not merely that Chiwangmu acknowledges Magu, it's also that Magu has nourished Chiwangmu with her sacred medicine. So the combination of these two things, just, the mutuality of it is such a beautiful, beautiful story. Max Dashu has written a wonderful article about Magu and about also Chiwangmu. If you'd like to learn more, you can look on the Suppressed Histories archives and just search under Magu or Chiwangmu. I'm going to be talking more about these two as we go through this month, sharing little tidbits in our practice. But there's so many layers to it, and I look forward to sharing that with you. What we're going to be doing for our prayer and divination this month is a little bit different. We're going to be doing some bibliomancy for our divination. Bibliomancy is the search for truth by looking at random passages from a holy book. And in this case, and I suppose you could do it with anything, any book, but in this case, we're using the Tao Te Ching. And so what we're going to do is each day for the prayer, I'm going to get a better candle. I have this wonderful candle holder that I love so much, but I'm going to get a taller candle for Magu when I go to my shop today. I'm going to light us our candle, and I'm going to each day read one verse from the Tao Te Ching and it'll be the first verse, and that will be our opening prayer each day. Then I'll flip to a random Tao Te Ching passage and read that aloud for our divination and give a little brief teaching. Really very brief teaching, because I feel like I myself could study this text for 1,000 lifetimes and still not grasp it. But that's because the nature of the Tao is ungraspable. And so let's together relax into the ungraspable as we contemplate our workings this month. And let's get started. So, a way that can be walked is not the way. A name that can be named is not the name. Tao is both named and nameless. As nameless, it is the origin of all things. As named, it is the mother of all things. A mind free of thought, merged within itself, beholds the essence of Tao. A mind filled with thought, identified with its own perceptions, beholds the mere forms of this world. Tao and this world seem different, but in truth, they are one and the same. The only difference is in what we call them. How deep and mysterious this unity is, how profound, how great. It is the truth beyond the truth, the hidden within the hidden. It is the path to all wonder, the gate to the essence of everything. The translation of the Tao that I'm working with this month is by Jonathan Starr, and he's done translation as well as commentary. This is Albert's copy, actually. He and I each have the same copy, which is a different one, and I'll bring that one out later this month. But he also has this copy, and I love this translation, and I'll show you why. Because in the translation, it actually, you have the English language translation in the front half of the book, but in the back half of the book, take a look. It includes a line by line breakdown of the characters of each passage, of each verse, so that you can see how the conceptual writing of this came together, and you can reflect on that. So maybe as an exercise later this week, I'll go in our first prayer to verse 1 and just read aloud the meanings of the characters as opposed to the contextualized prayer, because that'll be, I think, rewarding to hear. But for now, let's just go ahead and flip to a random page. If people do not fear death, why threaten them with it? But suppose they did fear death, and this was the fate handed to lawbreakers. Who would dare to do the killing? There is always a Lord of Death. He who takes the place of the Lord of Death is like one who cuts with the blade of a master carpenter. Whoever cuts with the blade of a master carpenter is sure to cut his own hands. So let's sit with that for just a minute. Really, right out the gate, boom, very timely message. Death isn't something that should always be hanging over our heads like a sword of Damocles, waiting, fearing. At the same time, non-harm is the way. So even though there is a lot of rhetoric right now that is based in fear, and it's a lot of different types of fear. It's fear of being sick, it's fear of dying, it's fear of losing others, it's also fear of being controlled. There's a lot of fear governing the landscape right now. That fear of death hangs over us like a blade. It hangs over our every interaction. It's wearying, and it has the potential to bring forth the least in each of us. But if we think of the greatest possible good, what is going to be the way? Not the named path, the unnamed path, not the politicized path, the unnamed path of meeting circumstances where they are, of being flexible and adaptable, and also boundaried and principled at the same time. That is where we can potentially find moments of respite from that sword that feels like it's always hanging over our heads. It's really important for us to not put ourselves in that role of executioner. That is to say, in so many different ways, not to cause harm, not to be the one who, cuts someone off, not to be the one who condemns, damns, and blames, but rather to be the one who, with kindness, compassion, and gentleness, holds a boundary and holds a sacred space and does their best to not cause harm. The path of the Tao is going to bring us to these kinds of questions again and again. How can I reconcile what I think of as this versus what I think of as that? But they're one and the same. The world and the Tao are one and the same. And yeah, Paris says kindness and compassion with boundaries. And Merrick reminds us that today is Milarepa's birthday. Thank you. Yeah, we're in a space now where we have to think about our relationship with death. And our relationship with death should be a gentle one, and should be one that is not about necessarily ever causing harm to another, but also about not causing harm to ourselves. And it's both. So today, Priestess Shananda says, yes, kindness and compassion. And meeting things really where we are right now. It's not going to be that the things that we're doing right now are the same as what we did 5 years ago or 10 years ago, not even 5 days ago. We are who we are right now and what we know right now. And I've seen amidst everything, whether it's COVID or Afghanistan or any number of the, flooding now that we're still seeing in the Southeast, I'm seeing a lot of rhetoric around how everyone should have known better. But I mean, in all the thousands and thousands and thousands of years of known human history, we've never known better. We've never known better. There have always been ugly wars. There have always been pandemics. There have always been these waves of suffering that come into the world, as well as times of relative peace and harmony and health and freedom. And the utopia is not possible as a sustainable vision any more than the post-apocalyptic chaotic mess is. Neither of these visions is the vision. The vision that can be named is not the vision, right? So let's sit with this today. Let's hold this today. And let's be sure to be as open and flexible to try to meet people halfway, to meet them where they are without giving ourselves up, and to do the hard work of unnaming, disidentifying, unattaching from I am this and you are that. And instead be, here we are. And this is what's going to work right now. And if, you come back tomorrow, it might be a different answer. That's reality. That's reality forever, for all of time. All right. Chiwangmu and Magu. So I have one other big announcement before we begin Guanyin practice. So since the temple was founded, I started this temple in 2017. I did an entire year of it myself. In 2018, I worked with a few people, and then I made it public in 2019, 2020, and now here in 2021. And in 2021, we are bringing Chiwangmu into the mandala of goddesses that are present in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple, along with Magu. The two of them together will share the month of September. So later on this month, we will probably do some kind of a prayer or ceremony. I was thinking probably I'll do it for the equinox, because then there's that balance of light and dark. And I'm thinking that there's also that balance of the elder and the maiden, because Chiwangmu is considered a young woman, or Chiwangmu is considered an elder woman, and Magu is considered a young woman. So I think what I'll probably do is on the equinox, when I do my temple ceremony on the app, I will be welcoming Chiwangmu into the temple mandala with offerings, and it'll be festive. And we'll talk about what that means to be in community of women where the elder needs the younger and the younger needs the elder as part of our learning this month. So I just thought I'd share. That's something that's exciting to me. And I think that's everything. So now let's dive in. We're going to start with 3 prostrations before the altar of Guanyin. And let's take refuge in the Dharma, which is the fundamental path of non-harm. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And today, remember when we were praying last week or 2 weeks ago for Steve and Chantal. Steve, who's at the end of his days, he had been diagnosed with terminal illness. Steve has now entered hospice, and so it's very difficult for him and for Chantal, especially as she is doing her best to be there for him and watching her beloved slip away. And so let's send our energies today to Steve and Chantal. And let's recite the 4 immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. And let's make our offerings. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering to Guan Shi, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Om Ahum. 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 Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. Now 108 recitations of Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa as we call upon the one who is the source and essence of nonviolence and non-harm. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Shin 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 Pusa. and the brief wind horse practice of Tara by Patrul Rinpoche. Lume chuksum chidang jetsun ma gyayum pakma drome jintu yi daki siso pelchor nyandrak nam yarnu dadang yarji sushindu kepar kaje wangtang lungta nam nyampa sushing chetu gawalong chije lekpe lamdu drowa dang sering nime dadang denjur shi. Through the blessing and power of the unfailing Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and of Jetsunma, mother of the Buddha's noble Tara, may our lifespan, merit, prosperity, and renown increase like a waxing moon, like a rising summer lake. Especially may our good fortune, Wangtong and Windhorse, be healed when they weaken, rejoined when interrupted, raised up when sinking down. May whatever we do turn out well, and may good health, long life, peace, and happiness be ours. Lume chuksum chidang jetsun ma gyayum pakma drome jintu yi deki sisu paljor nyandraknam yornu dadang yarji sushindu kipar kache wangtang luntanam nyampa sushing chetu gawalong chije lekpe lamdu drowa dang sering neme dadang denjur shi. 108 recitations now of Om Mani Padme Hum for all of those out there today who might be struggling in some way due to that Lord of Death hanging over them. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of our blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss Yeshe Wangmo be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxin Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher, wishing everyone a really good day, and we'll be back tomorrow.